So I watched you guys do your thing, and we were going. I don't know if Immortal Technique won that personally. We were both going. I think Iron Solomon kind of took that on some creative, like you fucking clearly spun the moment type shit. We just wanted to know who you think won that moment, if you don't mind chiming in.
Yeah, I mean that story is wild, like because Dub didn't do battles. You know what I mean? It was like their whole thing was like we don't have to go against each other to prove our MC skills. It was the MC challenge, and at the time, I was nobody knew who I was really. Like I had been fighting for recognition within Dub, and trying to get a higher spot on the list for the open mic and get into the MC challenge. And Immortal Technique was already, he'd already won Rocksteady battle and gone, and he won bragging rights, and I think he was already really selling records and had like the beginnings of a career, and he was known, he was somebody. And I think he was sort of the one who was supposed to win the MC challenge. It was like,
Right.
okay, we got this big name in here, he should really win it. You know what I mean? But the way the MC challenge is judged, it's kind of anybody's game, which is part of what's ill about the challenge. And I think that I won the challenge, and he was pissed. He wasn't, he didn't agree with those results, and so he like took the mic and was just like, "Yo, fuck that!" Like anybody who like he got the crowd on his side, which is like some real hip hop shit to do. It's like MC, move the crowd, like master of ceremonies. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Yo, anybody who thinks I won, make some noise." And like he's Immortal Technique, the energy is there, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who thought he won also. You know what I'm saying? And so the crowd goes crazy, and he's like, "Yo, anybody who wants to see me like battle whoever says I didn't win, make some noise." And I think that Zoo and Vice and Pro, it was just the energy in the room was like, "Yo, we have to let this happen." You know what I mean? And but they weren't happy about it because that's not their thing. They really are not. It's not about the battles for them. You know what I mean? And so it was a reluctant like, "Yo, this could happen." And I think again, Tech was thrown off because he expected that he was to, he felt like he had won. I'm this little fucking white kid with glasses, you know what I mean? And I think he just was like, this is going to be a cakewalk. All like we have to battle, and I thought I was going to lose too because this is before I really was battling like that. It was like I had done bragging rights a bunch of times, which was like a legendary battle in New York, but I never won. Like I got to the semifinals and then got knocked off, and there hadn't been a bunch of battles in New York for a while. So I had these bars that were like you would always have like a punchline here or there that you could like mix in. So I had one or two lines that I like hadn't gotten to use in a battle, and I think just because he's like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" I'm gonna just mop the floor with him, and I in my head was like, "Fuck, like this is gonna be embarrassing. Like he's gonna win, and I got first place, but now I'm gonna have to walk away with second place here." And he was trying to get me to go first, and Zoo like put his foot down and was like, "Nah, like he won on the card. We're letting this play out. You're going first." You know what I mean? And he went, and I think he wasn't in peak battle form because I'd seen him tear through plenty people, um, and he just kind of you know gave gave some bars and whatever, and it wasn't the best he could do. And then I think because the energy was behind him, and then the attention shifted to me again, like little white kid with glasses, like I benefit from that element of surprise. And so right away, when I like me just saying anything good, um, and then I had this line, only time you get five mics is in a gay orgy, which is like, five mics in the source. Five mics in the source was like the rating system back in the day. Like the Source magazine was the hip hop Bible, and Five Mics was like a perfect album. So that was like a bar that I had that I was like, "Yo, like I never got to use this in a battle." And so everyone went crazy, and then the energy shifted, and it was behind me. You know what I mean? So um, that was kind of one of my introduction almost into the battle scene in a way. Even though I had been around and been involved before, and again, shout to FYL, fuck your life, because back in the day, Nems won bragging rights. I remember George Burns being in a bragging rights with the fucking football jersey and the bandana before I was like, before we were friends, because this is like high school, 16, 17, 18 years old. Um, yeah, but yeah, I walked away with the win. But shout to Technique, man. I mean, he's a fucking legend, and he's, I think, in terms of underground
Yo,
independent hip hop,
huge legend.
is like, one of the most, one of the biggest like model success stories. And it was, it's an ill moment, and it was a crazy situation that it panned out that way. And yeah, it was just dope to be in a challenge with him at that time too. You know what I mean?
And just to add a little bit to the idea of ownership to tie it up, you can find that shit on Iron Solomon's YouTube channel.
Yes,
Go
sir.
follow,
Good call
subscribe,
back.
and do that, because here's the thing: it's very important to capture your history.